Hi, this is Amala Reddie, Associate Editor of Commercial Integrator, and today I'm joined by Maureen Carlson, um, the VP of Growth and co-founder of System Surveyor, as part of our business resources software deep dive, which will be published online as well as in our November-December combined issue of Commercial Integrator and Security Sales and Integration. Thank you, Maureen, for joining us today. It is lovely to have you, and thank you for sharing your thought leadership on business resources software as well as what System Surveyor brings to the security industry.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here, Amala. It's just a great opportunity to work more with SS&I. We've been collaborating for many years now together, and we always believe that this particular study is really important. So glad to be here to talk about it.
Absolutely. So let's dive right into it. Can you give me an overview of System Surveyor and how it got started?
Oh yeah, one of my favorite subjects. I'll try not to go on too long. System Surveyor was started in 2015. So gosh, we're all the way 8 years in. And I'll never forget, actually our founder, Chris Hugman, who served in the security industry for more than 20 years as a system integrator. So he lived it, he was breathing it. He found a little bit of well, not just a little bit, but a pain point, which was the opportunity to capture information in a digital format at the very first point of the journey for the customer. And that's at what we call the site survey. And it was just an opportunity to say, gosh, where the site survey is where you capture information about the design of a system, about what the customer would need in a building. Let's say it's a university. So going back to that time, we built a cloud-based platform with an app that worked at the time only on the iPad. Now it also works on Android tablets. It allowed people to walk a site survey, capture pictures and photos and all of the information they would need on a digital floor plan, sync that back up to the cloud, and have the other people involved in this process collaborate together. And so we've grown quite a bit since that time, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's amazing to hear. And I love that you talk about how you help design like the floor plans and everything. You mentioned something. You said customer journey, the first point of customer journey. What exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, that might get a little academic in a marketing term, but I think everybody in the integration business knows what we're really talking about here. I mean, the very first thing that happens when an integrator gets an opportunity is they get a call and someone says, gosh, we're thinking we're probably going to need 50 cameras. We need to update our access control system or do something new in intrusion detection. And they start that process, right? They make some calls and then they say, hey, let's go out on site together and let's look around. That's called a site walk or a site survey. That's kind of really the first point in the typical customer journey. And what was actually happening there, so as getting out paper floor plans, taking pictures on cell phones, that sounds pretty manual, right? Wasn't really much software involved there, and a lot of information up in the head, which we're pretty great people, but it's hard to collect all that. So that first point in the customer journey has imagine the domino effect for everything that happens from that point, because a proposal has to happen. An estimation, a proposal, more design, you got to go make a decision together, and then you've got to find out, once they make a decision about it, how to implement that, and then create what's called an as-built. So there's a whole journey, and it's actually pretty cyclical, because hopefully they're going to come back and ask to do it more and more and more, right?
Absolutely. And I like that you mentioned, it's a cyclical journey, and you talked a little bit about back in the day, it was all in the head, and now, you're helping provide the services, kind of helping them get to the point where they need to. So you mentioned, you're basically helping them grow, and you are also Vice President of Growth. What exactly is all that about?
Yeah, maybe you're starting to see that title, and to us, titles are not that big of a deal. But I do think one thing about us that's a little bit interesting in software, and we're a B2B SaaS company because we're talking about software, right? Is that growth means not a VP of sales or a VP of marketing in a traditional sense. We believe the product earns the growth, right? It has to be so meaningful. The software product that we're talking about, System Surveyor, has to be so meaningful that it grows. And my job is to have a team that nurtures that growth. So a lot of times someone will go, I'll buy 4 licenses for that. but they really have plans for 25 for their whole sales team, some of their estimators, and maybe a couple field techs, but they start small. And we're fine with that. And try it free. That's the way SaaS works now. And then when you start to see some value in that software, you start to make a decision, do I need a more enterprise version of that, or do I need something more robust? So we kind of we use product-led growth. And then we're going to nurture. If you need to talk to us about enterprise, of course, we're going to have an account exec for that. So I think it's a little different than even what I experienced 10 years ago. So a new type of title.
Yeah, and I like that you mentioned, like, software as a service has expanded a lot. A lot of more integrators are looking into different types of business resources software. Some get 1 to 2 to 3 kind of business resources and then abandon it after 2 years. So you're mentioning that growth aspect where you're retaining your clients. So why is that important to you? Why is it important that integrators stay with that piece of software and grow with it?
Oh my gosh, I remember that stat from the report. That would make one sad. We don't want you to leave. So I think we're on the next verge of, I'd say this market's maybe a little less mature. I've been in it about 10 years, but I spent about 15 years previous to that in other types of software and industries. In some cases, we're really far ahead on the innovation of the products for physical security. We're going to talk about AI, I think, in a few minutes, right? So those are coming fast, but running a system integration business is very difficult. There are a lot of moving parts. There's challenges getting the right labor. I could go on, right? I don't need to. This community knows that. But I think the next step in the software is to integrate software. So we are an open software platform. You might know that term. We have an API, and a lot of our peers in the industry have an API, an application programming interface. So we're amazing at the site survey, getting that information, syncing it, remember, to the cloud, and having access to other people and actually collaborating with manufacturers and so forth. But, we don't really consider ourselves an ERP or a customer relationship management. So we want to integrate to those, and we already have a lot of interest in that with our customers. I would say it happens at a little manual level right now. And the next level is to make those things very seamlessly working together. And so I think that will reduce someone going, oh no, I can't keep all these different softwares. They should work together really seamlessly. And so I think we're really going to see a lot more of that in 2024.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the rising trends, right? Open source software where it integrates seamlessly with other software, and it becomes basically like an end-to-end solution versus having different combination and bundles. So I wanted to ask you, you talked a little bit about the value of System Surveyor, and can you tell a little bit more about how it helps the physical security industry and where you imagine the company taking it forward?
Absolutely. I mean, our primary customers, we call them our ideal customers, are system integrators. I mean, that's our number one customer, and actually we have a lot of end users who use it too. They're the other side of the coin. So it's super interesting to see those two interacting. But for the integrator, what it's doing is it's helping them understand and estimate with their customers really early in that journey. Remember, at the site survey, and they're selling more efficiently and faster. And the reason I always keep it really simple, they're able to get a decision-ready proposal. Notice I said decision-ready and accurate, not just a proposal over the fence, as sooner than their competition by using System Surveyor. So they're increasing their sales conversion rates by, sometimes increasing them by 20%, and they're doing it in half the amount of time. When you talk about that with a director of sales of an integrator, they're going to perk up. But it's not just about sales. I mean, this also takes it to, they're going to sell something and they're going to have to deliver it. Now, wow, a picture is worth 1,000 words. We capture that picture and the ops team is going to get that. So we have benefits. It depends which team is looking at it. The end user, I think for them, they're planning and budgeting to spend with the integrator. And they don't have any documentation typically of what they have, or they don't have it mapped. It's often in a spreadsheet. So we provide value, but I'd say, we're really helping sell a profitable project. So because just selling is just not really the best thing. It's got to be a project that's healthy and good for everyone involved. So that's where we fit.
Absolutely. So you're helping consolidate the project and make it sure that it's optimized to the best experience, not just for the integrator, but also the client. And
Right.
really that's the whole purpose of business resources software. I know we touched a little bit about it earlier. We mentioned AI. We are going to get into AI now. I know AI is a big word. It's the big two word that is taken over, not just the security industry, but also the commercial integration industry. What are your thoughts about AI with regard to business resources software?
Well, I heard a speaker actually at I think a PSA event or something, and it was really good. He said, don't be so worried about AI. Make sure you're just not ignoring it. It's really important to embrace and understand in every part of your business or your software what will it touch. And obviously, we're immediately looking at that and understanding how can AI help in this process. I'm going to take one other interesting angle is AI is coming even faster with the manufacturers. So every camera manufacturer I know is trying to figure out where AI is playing. Well, imagine that from an integrator standpoint. It's kind of back to the pain point of, I think, what we solve is they're going, oh my gosh, they can't keep up with all these products. So when you can have a floor plan, you can have a design of a camera, camera is just one example, access control, it could be anything. And you could pull in and collaborate with the manufacturer who has deep expertise on this and visualize together about, it actually matters where things are mounted and how it's installed for the AI to work effectively. So there's so many aspects. I think it's vital to be paying deep and close attention to and planning for. I don't think we even know yet, right? Like how all it's going to come out, but we're excited about it.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you that AI is definitely something to keep an eye out for, given how its provenance in the future and who knows the road it will take. But it's all about the journey. It's all about the learning experience. My final question for you is, at System Surveyor, where do you see the company going forward in 5 years or so, and not just AI related?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think we pre-planned that one. Well, first of all, we just finished something really important that we just have to kind of celebrate for a minute. We just launched System Surveyor 2.0 at GSX, and we actually rewrote our app. Remember, we've got an app, then we're up in the cloud. The app is now on the Android and tablet as well as iPad. We couldn't really support Android to the extent we wanted to before. And what I think this does for us over the next few years is because we have a really modern software structure, as we can increase our time to market. We have a really robust community of users. They're very engaged with System Surveyor. They take it very seriously. They use it every day. And they have a lot of opinions about where they want it to go. And we're going to be also community-led growth. We can't do everything they ask, but I think they get really involved in our roadmap and our future. And, we're just going to keep helping solve that problem of how can we help them design super duper effectively, efficiently, and meet their customer needs better than anyone. And if we keep doing that, then our future is sound. And most importantly, if our core value is mutual success mindset. So if our customers are successful, we're successful. And so we're just keep focusing on that.
That's a lovely answer. Thank you so much for joining us today. And this is Amala Reddie from Commercial Integrator. And thank you again, Maureen, for joining us from System Surveyor as part of our Business Resources Software Deep Dive. Do not forget that Business Resources Software Deep Dive will be on our website over the course of the month, as well as in our November-December combined issue of Commercial Integrator and Security Sales and Integration. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Wow.